guys, Melissa here. So we're talking today about Tweezerman brushes. The review was gifted to me. This brush line was gifted to me by Preem.me. So thanks Preem.me and thanks Tweezerman for your generosity. Okay, so let's talk about these brushes. Okay, so basically Tweezerman is a brush line that is made with synthetic fiber. It is specifically DuPont Natrafill filaments, which feel like and perform better than natural animal hair fibers, as per their little pamphlet that they have in their brush kit. So I was really excited to see that I was going to be able to review a synthetic fiber brush line because I only use synthetic fiber brushes and I'm kind of picky about which ones I use specifically when I'm out on the road because some makeup artists prefer the natural animal hair fiber brushes. I don't because I'm not really too crazy about what goes into the process of making those brushes, whether they're cruel with the animals or how that goes about going. I'm kind of like an animal person, so I try to stay away from as much animal cruelty makeup as I can, and synthetic fiber brushes seemed a-okay by me, so I was really excited to find out that they were synthetic brushes. That was the first greatness. The rest, I kind of just went with it and did my makeup, so I'm going to talk to you guys about how I felt about each brush that I used in the makeup tutorial during the makeup tutorial. So let's take a look and see which ones I liked and which ones wasn't too crazy about.
I started out with Tweezerman's pointed foundation brush. I love that this brush is dome-shaped to help apply product over the curved shapes and edges of my face. It didn't absorb the product, and I only used about a dime-sized amount, and that was enough to give me full coverage. The bristles were soft and didn't leave any streaking. I love that I didn't have to touch up with a cosmetic sponge to smooth anything out. Next, I tried Tweezerman's pointed concealer brush. I thought this brush was great to bring a highlight to my brow, the bridge of my nose, and my lips. However, I felt it was too small to conceal underneath my eyes. I use a lot of concealer and prefer a bigger concealer brush. With this brush, I just felt it took me a lot longer to do, and I still had to buff it out with a different brush. Going back to the pointed foundation brush, I thought this brush was so soft and great, I just used it to buff out and blend out the rest of my makeup and the rest of my highlighting with it. And it worked great. I didn't have to go over it with a sponge. I really, really like this pointed foundation brush. Next, I wanted to seal up my concealer with Tweezerman's flat top powder brush. I'm always skeptical of the flat top powder brushes because they tend to hold a lot of the powder in the brush, but that wasn't the case with this Tweezerman brush. It sealed the powder in my highlight with no caking. It was really impressive. Great brush. Next, I tried Tweezerman's contour concealer brush. This brush has a curved shape that I felt was great for concealing the hollows of my cheeks and my hairline. However, when I tried to contour my nose, the curved shape of the brush felt a little awkward. I would possibly benefit by using Tweezerman's pointed concealer brush to contour my nose. Otherwise, the concealer contour brush works great for the cheeks and the hairline, and it's very soft to the touch. Next, I'm using the Stipple Top Finishing Contour Brush to blend out all my contour, and I think it blended everything nice and smooth without me having to go over it with a sponge or a blender ball. It just really blended everything just nice, and I really liked this brush. I was determined not to give up on the small pointed concealer brush, so I decided to use it to prime my eyelids with a cream eyeshadow. It was the perfect size for getting in my inner corners and working around my large eyelids. It also blended out the cream eyeshadow very evenly. On my eyes, I started out with Tweezerman's blender brush for my eyelid color. It was the perfect size for my large eyelids. It picked up the perfect amount of product and applied evenly over both of my eyes, and it was also super soft to the touch. For my crease color, I used the shader brush. This brush was perfect for applying directly into my crease. As you can see, it picked up the product easily and applied a generous amount directly into my crease. I buffed it out with the blender brush, then reapplied more color to my desired pigmentation. The brush blended out perfectly, blended into the lid color perfectly. I really like this brush, and once again, it was very soft to the touch. I used the line glider brush to add a nice smoky eyeshadow to my bottom lash line. The brush was a little thicker for my taste to use on the upper lash line, but worked perfectly in my bottom lash line for a nice smoky eye. The Tweezerman brow brush was a bit smaller than the brow brushes I was used to. I do have thicker brows and I prefer a thicker brow brush. However, it did help create crisp lines and fill to shape out my eyebrows. And I bet it would work great as an upper lash line eyeliner brush. The Tweezerman blush brush wasn't the slanted blush brush shape I prefer, and I felt the soft texture of the brush didn't pick up a lot of products, and I continually had to reapply product. All in all, I was really pleased with the Tweezerman synthetic brush collection. I was really grateful for not having to smooth out my foundation application with a sponge because these brushes just blended perfectly together on their own. And for the most part, I was happy with the pickup of the makeup product and application, and I really enjoyed the soft and gentle texture of these brushes.